Hello folks, welcome back to the channel. Introducing the brand new Bigscreen Beyond version 2. And in this video, I'm going to give you my full review of this device because I have been using it and testing it for quite some time now. This will include also my first impressions of ever using the Bigscreen Beyond 2. So what's changed? Well, let's have a look at the unboxing and I'll talk you through some of the major features of the Bigscreen Beyond version 2. Can you believe it? It's here already. So as we unbox it, you can see here, it's a very nice experience and really top quality. Now there's not many differences at all with the device from the outside, apart from the striking new transparent case, which I think absolutely looks really distinct and quite desirable, especially when you see it with the LED on. Very cool looking headset. In fact, it's got to be said, it's the coolest looking headset ever made, without a doubt. And that continues to be the case here. Also, it's the same deal. You have to scan your face with an iPhone to get a bespoke facial interface. That means it is molded to your face, providing great comfort and no light leakage. Now, one of the big features of the Beyond 2 is you can change your IPD. And here's some footage from a fellow YouTuber called Mark, otherwise known as Heli Rider. Please do check his channel out. He made this footage especially for my channel. So please do make sure you check his channel out. Very good information, and he's honestly got some really good insights into VR. But I'll just show you this again because basically you can now change your IPD using a measurement you can see there on either side of the lens. For me and you watching this, you'll only probably ever do this once. But if you do want to share the Beyond with perhaps another facial interface for someone else, then you can do so. But not to mention, I think one of the really big deals is this will actually help its resale value for when you ever want to upgrade. As you can see, as we unbox it, it is very striking, beautifully made, and I do respect how Bigscreen Beyond has provided a very long cable which is incredibly light, like the headset, and very high quality and very pliable as well, which is really important with a headset this light because you don't want it tugging on the back of the headset. It's very easy to feel the cable on such an incredibly light and compact headset such as the Bigscreen Beyond, so top marks there. However, I hear you ask, what has actually changed here? Because it looks the same high quality, very cool looking little VR headset. Well, I was actually concerned myself when I unboxed it, thinking I don't really know here what I'm supposed to be seeing differently from the Beyond 1. Well, all that changed when I looked through the headset, and you're going to see my raw reaction as part of this review in a moment. But I'll just talk you through some of the major features here. It's all about those lenses. There is a huge difference here. First of all, the field of view of the Bigscreen Beyond is spectacular now. Not only that, there is at least 80% less glare, something that I found was a big deal breaker with the first iteration. And then there is the sweet spot, which has been massively improved. This is an excellent lens design now, and I'm absolutely blown away with it, as you'll see, because when I put the headset on for the first time, I wasn't really sure what to expect, but this did really shock me. There is some trade-offs to have that great field of view though, which I'll talk about in my first impressions, and also at the end when I give you my conclusion. The weight has also been reduced by up to 15%, which is crazy when you think the headset is already insanely light, and the smallest VR headset in the world, which I think is still the case even against the Mega Nex. And finally, it also has eye tracking. Absolutely incredible. This is something that everyone wants in a tiny Micro-OLED VR headset, and that is now an option with this headset. So now we're starting to realise why this is called the Bigscreen Beyond 2. Now for the next part of this review, I'm going to give you my raw first impressions, something that I tend to do in a separate video, but since I've had this now for a number of weeks, I can give you my full conclusion on this headset. But keep in mind, when I show you this part of the video, this is me trying it for the very first time. Super excited about this. Here we go. Oh my god. Let me just, oh wow, hang on. I can already tell. Right, okay. So straight away, there's a few things hitting me, and that is, first of all, okay, field of view. Absolutely, that is, wow, very wide actually, especially coming from the Mega X, and even the Bigscreen Beyond version 1, which I've just been in. This is a very nice field of view. Very wide actually, especially for Micro-OLED. Wow, yeah, field of view is a massive improvement. Yeah, I'm quite taken back by that. That's really impressive for such a tiny little headset. That is good. However, I'm just looking here, guys. I do feel they have sacrificed the binocular overlap a bit to do this. The second thing that's hitting me straight away is those lenses. Even though they look the same, and I wasn't quite convinced when I opened it up for the first time, the lenses are a huge improvement. Without a question, without a shadow of a doubt. I'm actually quite taken back by this, guys, because first of all, it's the sweet spot is a lot better. It's a lot wider in this. Just looking around, there's immediate difference between Beyond 1 and Beyond 2, definitely. And it's almost like comparing Fresnel lenses with pancake lenses. That's the difference here. I can definitely look around a lot more with my eyes. But yeah, I've got to say again, the binocular overlap, they have definitely sacrificed a bit of that. So it'll be interesting to see over time if that bothers me. The next thing that's hitting me is, well, the lack of glare, really. I mean, there is glare here, though, don't get me wrong, at the bottom like there was before, but nowhere near as bad, again, as the Beyond 1. And we will try this in this particular video at night, and I'm going to switch on all the gauges to really assess to see if the glare is definitely better. But first impressions, the lenses are a massive improvement. Wow, that's to think as well how tiny this headset is. This is actually smaller than the Mega X, but the field of view is a lot wider. And if you don't mind, sacrificing a bit of that overlap, then this will be okay. Now, of course, field of view is a very personal thing, and it's going to depend on your face shape and making sure that you get your facial interface scanned correctly. But yeah, that is really a massive improvement there, definitely. Now, in terms of the panel itself, this is Micro-OLED at the end of the day, and this is not as high resolution as the Mega X, but this is high enough. And at 2.5K per eye, or thereabouts, I cannot see any pixels. I can't see any screen door effect at all, and I can't see any Miura. You wouldn't get that with Micro-OLED anyway. I'm just more impressed with the field of view. That's what's really hitting me here. And the lenses, just, yeah, incredible difference, really. Right, anyway, let's get this aircraft fired up. This is the same aircraft I used for the Mega X. I've done that on purpose. I know it's boring, guys, but it gives me a better indication of what I'm seeing in comparison to that headset. You know, because I've recently been using this particular aircraft. It's a TBM 850 by Black Square, one of the best GA aircraft you can get. Been using it a lot, so it's a good benchmark for me to understand what I'm looking at. Right, with that being said, ignition's on. I'm getting a little bit of jitter from the base station. That's only because, folks, the base station is set for my motion rig, which is over at the other end of the room. I'm right next to the base station. So if there's a little bit of jitter, sorry about that, folks, but this is a first impressions. And this is not going to be a very nice, perfectly polished, edited video, or at least this part of it anyway, because you'll see my raw reaction. And you cannot get those reactions back. The first time you try something, you really get the true feelings through the camera, and that's why I'm doing it like this. Right, anyway, let's just fire this aircraft up. It's worth noting that I am using the Bigscreen Beyond Deluxe Audio Strap, which I would highly recommend. It's going to definitely increase the price though. But I've got a full review of this audio strap, and I'll link it in this video. But it really is, dare I say it, a game changer for this headset. Simply because not only do you get fantastic audio, but it's a lot more comfortable with this audio strap because it relieves the pressure. And even though, yes, this is a tiny headset, you still need some support. And I really like how you've got this kind of support at the back of the head, and it just feels really premium as well, and finishes off the Bigscreen Beyond very well. So if you're after integrated audio, like me, massive fan of integrated audio, definitely check out this strap if you're going to get one of these. Right, anyway, let's go for Radio Master on. Ethos, AP trims, inertial separator, pitot heat. This is where I can see the avionics panels, and they're looking very sharp, gotta say, very nice. And we are in TAA mode as well, folks. I'm not using DLSS. I'm running the full native resolution of this headset in MSFS 2020. And it does look super sharp. This is sharp enough. 4360 by 4360. That's 150%, and that's the default that SteamVR is setting this headset to. Don't get me wrong, the Megan X is obviously sharper than this, and I will do a comparison against the two. But these are just my reactions as I'm thinking about them, and this is definitely sharp enough. It is, absolutely. You don't need any more clarity than this, especially at the moment with, you know, the prices of GPUs. It's just crazy, really, and VR headsets are outrunning even the top-end GPUs. In some ways it makes more sense to get something like this with a lower resolution, bigger field of view as well, by the way, and it will run better as well. I'm getting at the moment though about 35-40 frames per second, but that's whilst recording. I'm using NVIDIA Broadcast, which absolutely saps frames for breakfast. So yeah, there is glare in this headset, okay, but it's not as bad as before. But there is still some glare at the bottom of the lenses. But it's not like a kind of, it's not as bad. It's not like a Vaseline effect, as we used to call it, with the Beyond 1. Let me just try, because at the moment I'm at 100% brightness. Let me just try overdrive mode and see what that looks like. Oh wow, okay. Yeah, that's really bright. Wow. Especially for a Micro-OLED panel. But I can now hear the fan. It's kind of going a bit mental. It's kind of going zzz, ever so slightly in the background. It's not like a really loud sound. And of course, you can only hear it really when you've got the audio quite low. If you've got the audio strap blaring out at you, it's not going to be such an issue. But yeah, there is a little bit of a whine from the fan, and I wonder over time whether that will really heat up those displays. But gotta say, Bigscreen Beyond, you've absolutely nailed it for this type of display. Wow, you really have eked everything out of it, because this is really bright. I don't think people are going to complain about the brightness of this if you have it in overdrive mode. Wow, okay, that's good. That is very good, but I am going to put it back down to 100%. Just because I'm a bit worried about burning those panels. I'm sure it's fine, but for me, 100% is still adequate and perfectly usable. Right, anyway, lots to think about, folks. Hope you're enjoying this first impressions, my first sort of, you know, moments with the Bigscreen Beyond version 2. We're now going to go for a flight out of Edinburgh. I'm just going to fly around a little bit, see what the performance is like, see what things feel like, and I'll also try taking the lights down and doing a night section, because I'm really intrigued to see what the glare is going to be like. But I will say, folks, there's definitely still a bit of glare at the bottom of these lenses. But it's, yeah, before it used to really annoy me. This is not as bad. So that's something. And to be fair, I'm not sure how much that's going to bother me until I've tried it for at least a week or so. So I can give you my full review. Okay, so this does look, the display in this is extremely good. It's really impressive. Very, very sharp. The sweet spot is a lot better than it used to be. There is glare. It's still there, but it's not as bad as before. Right, anyway, the sun is shining on us now. Let's just get sort of comfortable in the cockpit here. Again, sorry if the video is a bit rough and ready, but that's how you get it, folks. This is my first impressions, and this is the only way you're going to see my honest and pure reaction to this headset. And as you can see, I am excited by it. I am excited by these lenses and this extra field of view. So another thing that is definitely a point of contention is the refresh rate. I definitely prefer 90 Hz, but I don't believe you can use the full native resolution at 90 Hz. You have to upscale, and I have tried that in the Beyond 1. I presume it'll be the same with this headset, and while the image is still very sharp, you can definitely tell that the clarity takes a hit because it's been upscaled, and you kind of get a shimmering effect on the text. So with 75 Hz, I can just detect ever so slightly a little bit of flickering. But keep in mind, I am very, very sensitive to low refresh rates, and anything really below 80 Hz for me, I can tell. Having said that, because this is Micro-OLED, it is a very different technology, and this still feels absolutely fine. It's not an issue for me at all. Okay, let's just be clear here. It wasn't an issue with the Beyond 1, and it's not an issue here either. It's just because I'm so used to 90 Hz and 120 Hz. I did, when I first put the headset on, and I still ever so slightly now if I look away from it, just detect a very slight bit of flickering. But it really is slight. It's hardly anything. So we're currently getting quite low frame rate here. It's about 35 frames per second, but that's because of the recording process, guys. And I am running TAA mode with DirectX 12 as well. If I was using DirectX 11, I reckon I'd be getting at least 40 frames per second. And remember, this is 75 Hz, so you get a lower threshold. That is a big deal because it means that you can run this at say 37-ish frames per second, and it'll feel smooth like it would at 45 frames per second with a 90 Hz panel. So that's important to note. But this looks really, really, really nice. Massive congratulations to the Bigscreen Beyond team. I think this is plenty sharp enough, and the lenses are excellent now, and the glare so far doesn't bother me. Something I've never said about the Bigscreen Beyond. Right, let me now see, because all my bindings all over the place. We're now going to try nighttime flying to see what the glare is like, because OLED absolutely rules. In fact, actually, that is so dark. I'm going to have to put the panel lights on first. that already looked incredible. Here we go. Oh, look at this. Oh my god. Oh, that is absolutely gorgeous. Right, let me take away the screen thing. There we go. Oh, yes. Oh, yes, yes. That is friggin' amazing. That looks so good. Every time I fly at night with a Micro-OLED panel, it blows my socks off. And you know, one thing that really is hitting me here, there's a combination of three things. First of all, the lack of glare here. I expected this panel to go crazy. Looking at this, I mean, there is glare, especially if I move like this, there's a bit of glare, but it's nowhere near as bad. Honestly, it's within tolerance for me personally, and I hate glare. That's not an issue for me. The second thing is, of course, the obvious. It's Micro-OLED. This is pure nighttime now, and because of this facial interface, I've got a perfect seal around my face, which means I've got no light leakage, and that's amazing considering I've got a massive light shining on me right now. I can't see that. All I'm seeing is it's nighttime and it's perfect blacks. Perfect blacks. So those two things I've just mentioned, which is the lenses, which are way better, and of course Micro-OLED, that's obvious now, okay? But the third thing is probably the biggest deal for me and exclusive to the Beyond 2, and that is the field of view. As I look at this panel, I can see the entire panel, but I can also see slightly a bit of the windows as well, which means that the field of view at night time just feels that more like dramatic, like really dramatic, because that extra field of view makes a difference, definitely. And if you think about how tiny this headset is, this is actually smaller and lighter than the Mega X. That field of view is a very nice addition, but they have sacrificed a bit of that overlap to do so. Now, lucky me, I don't really suffer too badly with a bad binocular overlap. Like, I really love the XR4 and I really love the Quest 3. Both of those headsets, believe it or not, have terrible binocular overlap, and it is possible to get eye strain if you are sensitive to it. Thankfully for me, I don't suffer too badly with it, so it's not an issue for me, this, at all. But I think it's important to mention that they have, sacrificed a bit of that overlap to achieve this bigger field of view. But to me, it's a welcome addition. I think it looks absolutely fantastic. And can I also just say, how good does this microphone sound? This is the best microphone I've ever heard from a VR headset. I thought the Mega Nex's microphone was good. I thought the Valve Index microphone was really good. But this is better than most studio microphones. Friggin' amazing. Now, in terms of looking out at the far distance, well, it's pancake lenses, which means you get a beautiful, crisp and clear image. Something you will never get from something like a Quest. A pure DisplayPort connection headset with this kind of panel is absolutely just another level completely. Now, some of the negatives that I can think of so far is the fact that the Bigscreen Beyond, well, you need to make sure you've got an iPhone to scan your face, and I guess really you definitely feel the heat a bit more with this headset than you would with, say, the Mega X, because it kind of it's like a vacuum on your face. That facial interface kind of like sticks to your face, and whether you're hot or not, when I take it off, yeah, I can just feel a little bit clammy, or a little bit of, I'm not sure sweat's the right word, 'cause I'm not sweating, but feels a bit sticky, like basically there's no air getting to your skin at all. So I guess that's another negative with the Beyond. But on the upshot, it is incredibly comfortable. What else am I thinking here? I do love the look of it, although that's not that important. I do think the LED is very cool. But wow, yeah, Bigscreen Beyond version 2. Let me know, guys, in the comments below, what kind of content would you like to see with this headset? Probably try it in DCS World, IL2, obviously MSFS 2020, 2024, maybe X-Plane if you're interested, maybe Elite Dangerous or something like that, Let me know, engage in the comments, guys. This will do for my raw first impressions of the Bigscreen Beyond version 2. What a time for Micro-OLED. The revolution is well and truly here. So it's now time to give you my conclusion of the Bigscreen Beyond version 2. Is this your next headset? Well, there's many things that are still the same, such as the resolution, which is 2560 by 2560 per eye, using, of course, beautiful Micro-OLED, with a pixels per degree of around 32. The refresh rate, well, native is 75 Hz and upscaled 90 Hz, and well, in terms of the way that you fit it to your face, at the moment at least, it's still the same. But there's some more news here, because Bigscreen Beyond team have told me that there's going to be a new Halo style strap, very much like the Mega X, and it's going to have military grade materials, whatever that means, but it sounds kind of cool. One of the big changes which I really do appreciate is the fact you can now change your IPD, and the range is very impressive, from 48mm to 75mm, which means even Monty can enjoy this headset now. And in terms of the lenses, that's where it counts the most, because you are 1mm closer to those lenses, which means you get a fantastic field of view now. This will change depending upon your face shape, the facial interface, and your eyes and how far they are inside of your head. But for me, as you can see here, I did try and use Test HMD, and I bought it, but soon realised I couldn't use it because I didn't have any controllers. How annoying. So it's useless for sim racers and flight simmers. But thankfully Infinite HMD Tester came to the rescue, and it's actually free, and I got some interesting values here. I managed to get 108 degrees horizontal and a whopping 103 degrees vertical. So that is actually a very respectable figure, considering that this is a tiny Micro-OLED VR headset, and I have heard some testers when using the Bigscreen Beyond getting a lot more than that. So again, this is just depending upon your face shape. So in combination with that great field of view and the sweet spot, I need to talk about those lenses one more time, folks, because I'm going to say it, these lenses are definitely on par with the Quest 3 in terms of sweet spot. I am so blown away with the eye box of this headset, and in combination with a great warping profile as well. This is definitely a very nice place to be for your eyes, apart from one issue, which is binocular overlap. And the best way I can describe it is quoting a member of my Discord, because he explained it really well. Binocular overlap refers to the visible overlapping portion between the two eyes of a stereoscopic vision system. In other words, it describes how much of the viewed scene can be seen by both eyes, as opposed to just one of the eyes. And it gives you a true real-life 3D. Now that is very well put, so thank you, buddy, for explaining that so well. And it really is about that middle portion of your view. Imagine your nose, but if you put your hands in the way, it kind of blocks out the middle portion of the screen. And if you look left and right with your eyes as well, with something like the Megan X, it's just one big display, or perhaps small in terms of its field of view, but in terms of the lenses, I mean, it is just one lens, rather than two lenses that basically go on top of each other, and you can see the outer portions of each lens. And actually some things can be obscured by that in the actual VR scene as well. This is something that is not new in the VR world. You know, Meta Quest 3 has really bad binocular overlap, so does the XR4 on the other end of the scale. And I think most people don't really suffer too badly with it. But it is something to keep in mind, because it can cause you eye strain if you're susceptible to this phenomenon. Right, moving on, because we could talk about this forever, but some of the other negatives for me is the heat that the Beyond 2 puts out. It's not uncomfortable or anything, but I'd imagine on a relatively warm day, it's going to get very sweaty. And talking of sweaty, I personally don't really like how the facial interface is kind of like a vacuum on your skin. And even on a cool day, as I mentioned in my first impressions video, you do feel that there's just no air getting to your skin. So I am looking forward to this Halo style strap. I think that will be a fantastic new addition, because for me personally, I much prefer the headset to sort of float above my face, so that I have good ventilation. This new Halo style strap will also be compatible with the audio strap, which is great news. I think also when compared to the Megan X, which I will do a full comparison, the Beyond 2, while it's the fantastic display, and if I hadn't seen the Megan X, I wouldn't even be saying this, but I must admit, you can tell that the resolution is slightly lower. Not necessarily the clarity per se, but it's just the quality of that panel. You can just definitely see that you're looking through a display more so than the Megan X. But I will do a full comparison of both of these VR headsets very soon. So let's talk about the positives of the Bigscreen Beyond version 2, which they are many. Now I love the aesthetic look of the headset, it's very desirable, it is very comfortable, very light, although I'm not a massive fan of the facial interface, it's still very light on your head. The field of view is a very welcome addition, and for me I'm getting 108 degrees horizontal, which is pretty decent for this display. Micro-OLED is the future for VR, absolutely, and this is such an incredible image. You get deep, pure blacks, vivid colours, it's very, very nice. Also is the lenses. In fact, these lenses blow apart anything else and is on par with the Quest 3. I have never said that with any VR headset until this point, so well done Bigscreen Beyond. In terms of the glare, it's around sort of 80% less than the Bigscreen Beyond 1, so if you're thinking of upgrading from the Beyond 1, this is an absolute no-brainer. It really is. And of course, with the audio strap, you get integrated audio, which is fantastic and well worth that extra cost. This also supports smart smoothing, because this is a native Steam VR headset, something that I know many people really love, including myself. And in terms of just the usability and software, it is very simple, very effective, and works really well. And in conclusion, I think this is a very strong contender for one of the best VR headsets that we have in the market right now, especially when you consider the price. And of course, the big thing here, which I haven't really spoken about because I don't have this particular unit yet, is the eye tracking. There is a version coming out with eye tracking very soon. And that, I've got to say, is a big game changer and worthy of the name Bigscreen Beyond version 2. In my opinion though, with this particular model that I'm using at the moment, it feels more like a refresh of the Bigscreen Beyond version 1. You know, more of an updated version, but not a completely new version. I think the one with the eye tracking definitely moves the game on, because a form factor like this with Micro-OLED with eye tracking is going to be very exciting. So hopefully I'll be able to showcase that headset very soon, as well as the Halo strap. So let me know in the comments below, what do you think about the Bigscreen Beyond version 2? Could this be your next VR headset? Well, I hope this video has helped you along your way in your decision, and if you'd like to support the channel, I do have an affiliate link, so feel free to use it, but there's absolutely no pressure at all. And if you've got this far in the video, thank you so much for watching, I really appreciate it. Please feel free to subscribe. There'll be more Bigscreen Beyond 2 content coming, and please do let me know in the comments what you'd like to see. But for the time being, thank you for watching, take care and bye for now.